The Necklace by Guy de Maupassant. She was one of those pretty and charming girls who were sometimes as if by a mistake of destiny. Born in a family of clerks, she had no dowry, no expectation, no means of being known, understood, loved, wedded by any rich and distinguished man, and she left herself be married to a leather clerk at the Ministry of Public Instruction. She dressed plainly because she could not dress well, but she was unhappy as thought she had really fallen from her proper station, since with woman there is neither case for nor wrong, and beauty, grace, and charm act instead of the family and birth, natural fineness, instinct for what is elegant, suppleness of wit, and restored her to, and make from woman of the people are equals of the very greatest ladies. She suffered cessantly, feeling herself born for all the delicacies of all the luxuries. She suffered from the poverty of her building, from the rich look of the walls, from the worn-out chairs, from the ugliness of the curtains. All those things, of which another woman of her rank would never even have been conscious, tortured her and made her angry. The sight of the letter written peasant who did her humble housework as an in her regrets, which were despairing and distracting. She thought of that quiet antechambers hung with oriental tapestry, lit by tall bronze candelabra, and of two great footmen and inebriates who sleep in the big armchairs, made drowsy by the heavy warmth of Lothair's stove. She thought of long salon fit up with incense, of delicate furniture carrying restless curiosities, and of the cleanest perfume better smelled of talk of 5 o'clock with intimate friend, with men famous of sought after home. All women in pride of those attention, their all desire. When she sat down to the dinner, before the round table covered with a tablecloth 3 days old, opposite her husband, who uncovered the soap curtain and declared with an enchanted air, "Ah, the good pot of food! I don't know anything better than that." She thought of dainty dinners, of shining silverware, of tapestry, which peopled the walls with ancient personage and with strange bird flying in the midst of fairy forest, and she thought of delicious dishes served on marvelous plates, and of the whispered cadences which you listen with a sphinx-like smile, while you are eating with pink flesh of trout or the wings of the prey. She had no dresses, no jewels, nothing, and she loved nothing but that. She felt made of that. She would have liked to please, to be in faith, to be charming, to be sought after. She had a friend, a former schoolmate at the convent, who was rich, and whom she did not like to go and see anymore, because she suffered so much when she came back. But one evening her husband returned home with a triumphant air, and holding a large envelope in his hand. "There," said he, "there is something for you." She tore the paper sharply, and drew out a printed card, which bore these words: "The Minister of Public Instruction and Madame Georges request the honor of Madame Louisa company at the place of Ministry on Monday evening, January 18th. Instead of being delighted, and as her husband hoped, she threw invitation on the table with disdain, murmuring, "What do you want me to do with that?" "But, my dear, I thought you would be glad. You never go out, and this is such a fine opportunity. I had awful trouble to get it. Everyone wants to go. It is a very selected, and they are not giving many invitation to clerks. The whole official world will be there." She looked at him with an averted eye, and she said impatiently, "And what do you want me to put on my back?" She had not laughed of that. She stammered, "Why, the dress you had to go theatre in it. It looked very well to me." He stopped, distracted, seeing that his wife was crying. Two great tears descended slowly from her eyes towards the corner of her mouth. He stuttered. What's the matter? What's the matter? But by a violent effort, she had conquered her grief, and she replied with a calm voice while she wiped her wet cheeks. Nothing, only have no dress, and therefore I can't go to this ball. Give regard to some college whose wife is better equipped than I. He was in despair. He resumed, come, let us see Matilde. How much it costs instead of a dress which I could use on other occasion. Something very simple. She reflected several seconds, making her calculation and wondering also what sum she could ask without throwing herself in immediate refusal and frightened exclamation from my economical clerk. Finally, she replied hesitantly, I don't know exactly, but I think I could manage it for 400 francs. He had grown a little pale because she was laying aside just that amount to buy a gun and treat himself for leather shooting next summer on the plain of Nanterre with several friends who went to shoot larks down there of a Sunday, but she said, all right, I'll give you 400 francs and tried to have pretty dress. The day of the ball drew near, and Madame Liselle seemed sad, uneasy, anxious. Her dress was ready, however. Her husband said to her evening, what's the matter? Come, you've been so poor these last 3 days. And she answered, it annoys me not having a single jewel, not a single stone, nothing to put it on. I, I shall look like this dress. I should almost order not to go at all, he resumed. You might run at your flowers if very stylish at this time of the year. For 10 francs you can get 2 or 3 magnificent roses, she was convinced. No, there's nothing more unique than look poor among other women who are rich. But her husband cried, how stupid you are. Call up your friend Madame Forrester and ask her to lend you some jewels. You're quite think enough with her to do that. She uttered a cry of joy. It's true, I never thought of it. The next day she went to her friend and told her distresses. Madame Forrester went to her wardrobe with a glass door, took out a large jewel box, brought it back, opened it, and said to Madame Lisette, choose, my dear. She saw first of all some bracelets, then a pearl necklace, then a phantom cross gold and a precious stones, and a medieval workmanship. She tried on ornaments before the glass, hesitated, could not wake up her mind off the part of them to give them back. She kept asking, haven't you any more? Why, yes, look, I don't know what you like. All of a sudden, she discovered in a black satin box a silver necklace of diamond, and her heart began to beat with an immoderate desire. Her hands trembled as she looked at it. She fastened it around and throat outside her high neck necklace and remained lost ecstasy of sight of herself. Then she asked, hesitantly, filled with anguish, can you lend me that? Only that? Why, yes, certainly. She sprang upon the neck of her friend, kissed her passionately, and fled with her treasure. The day of the ball arrived. Madame Lucille made a great success. She was prettier than them all, elegant, gracious, smiling, and crazy with joy. All the men looked at her as her name endeavored to be introduced. All the attaches of the cabinet wanted to waltz with her. She was remarked by the minister himself. She danced with exultation, with passion, made drunk by pleasure, forgetting all the triumph of her beauty in the glory of her success, in a sort of cloud of happiness composed of this homage, all of this admiration, all of this awakened desires of that sense of complete victory which stood to woman's heart. She went away about 4 o'clock in the morning. Her husband had been sleeping since midnight, in a little deserted anteroom, with 3 other gentlemen whose wives were having a very good time. He threw over her shoulders the robe which she had brought, modest robe of common life, those poverty contrasts with the elegance of ball dress. She felt that she wanted to escape so as not to be remarked by other women who were enveloping themselves of gossipers. Russell held her back. Wait a bit, we will catch cold outside. I will go and call a cab. But she did not listen to him and rapidly descended the stairs. When they were in the street, they did not find any carriage, and they began to look for one, shouting after a cabman whom saw passing by a distance. They went down towards the Seine in despair, shoveling with cold. And last they found a equa of one of those ancient benevolent couples which exactly yet they were ashamed to show their mercy during the lady had never been around Paris until nightfall. He took them to their door in Rue des Martyrs, and once more sadly they climbed up homeward. All was ended for her, and as to him she repeated that she must be at the ministry at 10 o'clock. She removed the ruff, which covered her shoulders, began the glass so once more she felt her glory. But suddenly she uttered a cry. She had no longer the necklace around her neck. Her husband, already half undressed, demanded, "What is the matter with you?" She turned madly towards him. I've lost Madame Mr. Necklace." She stood up distracted. "What? How? Impossible." And they looked in the folds of her dress and pulled on the cloth. In her pockets everywhere. They did not find it. He asked, "You're sure that you have only left the ball?" "Yes, I felt it festival on the place. But if you have lost in the street, you should have heard it fall. It must be in the crowd." "Yes, probably." "Did you take his number?" "No, and you? Didn't you notice it?" "No." They looked thunderstruck at one another. At last, Russell put his clothes and shall go back on foot, said he. "Over the whole road she was been taken to see if I can find it." She went out. She sat waiting on a chair in her ball dress, without strength to go to bed, overwhelmed, without fire, without thought. Her husband came back about 7 o'clock. She had found nothing. She went to police headquarters, to the newspaper offices, and offered a refund. He went to cab companies everywhere, in fact, where he was urged by the least suspicion of hope. She waited all day, in the same condition of mad fear, before his terrible calamity. Lucy returned at night with a hollow, pale face. She would discover nothing. "You must write to your friend," said he, "that we have broken the clasp of her necklace and that you're having it mended. That will give us time to turn around." She wrote in this dictation. On the end of the week they had lost all hope, and Lucille, who had agreed 5 years, declared, "We must consider how to replace the ornament." The next day they took the box which had contained it, and they went to where whose name was found within. He consulted his books. They found in the shop of Paris Barrier, a string of diamonds which seems to them exactly like one they looked for. It was worth 40,000 francs, and they could have it for 36. So they begged the jeweler to not sell it for 3 days yet, and they made a bargain that he could buy it back for 34,000 francs, in case they had found the other one before the end of February. Giselle possessed 18,000 francs, which his father had left him. He would borrow the rest. He did borrow, asking for 1,000 francs of one, 500 of another, 5 louis there, here, 3 louis there. He gave notes, took up earnest obligation, debt with usurer and all the raised lenders. He compromised of the rest of his life, risked his danger without even knowing if he could meet it, and threatened by the pains yet to come, by the blackness which was all about to fall upon him, by the prospect of all the physical provision of the moral tortures he was suffer. He went to get a new necklace, putting down upon the merchant's country's 36,000 francs. When Madame Lucille took back the necklace, Madame first said to her, with a clinging manner, "You should have returned it sooner. I might have needed it." She did not open the case, as her friend had too much feared. If she had dictated the substitution, what would she do? What would she have thought? What, what would she have said? Would she have not taken Madame Lucille for her thief? Madame Lucille knew that horrible excesses of her needy. She took her part, moreover, all of a sudden, with her reason. That dreadful dog must be paid, she will pay it. They dismissed their servant, they changed their lodging, and went to burn under the roof. She came to know what heavy housework meant, and all the cares of the kitchen. She washed the dishes using her nursery nails and greasy pots and pans. She was the dirty line, the shirts and dishcloths, which she dried up upon lunch. She carried the loaf down to the street every morning. and carried up water, stopping for breath at every landing. And just like a woman of the people, she went to the further the castle. The butcher, her basket and her arm, bargaining, insulted, defending her miserable money, so by so. Each month they had to meet some notes. Renew other obtain more time. Her husband worked in evening making a fair copy of some tradesman accounts, and late at night she often covered manuscript for 5 sales page. At his life lasted 10 years. At the end or 10 years they had paid everything, everything with the rates of usury and the accumulation of compound interest. Madame Michel looked old now. She had become the woman who improvised households, strong and hard rough, with rosy hair, skirt and red hands. She talked loud while washing the floor with great wishes of water. But sometimes, when her husband was off in office, she sat down near the window, and she thought that gay evening a long ago of the ball, where she had been so beautiful, so fit. What would have happened if she had not lost a necklace? Who knows? Who knows? How life is strange and changeful. How little thing is needed for us to be lost or to be saved. But one day, one Sunday, having gone to take a walk with our chums Alice to refresh himself from the labors of the week, she suddenly perceived a woman who was leading a child. It was Madame Forrester, still young, still beautiful, still charming. Madame Lucille felt moved. Was she going to speak to her? Yes, certainly. And now that she had paid, she was going to tell her about it. Why not? She went up. Good day, Jen, and the other attendants to be familiarly addresses by displaying goodbye. Did not recognize her at all, and stammered. But, Madame, I do not know. You have mistaken. No, I am Mathilde Lucille. She, her friend Arthur inquired. Oh, my poor Mathilde, how you are changed. Yes, I have days hard enough since I've seen you days. Fresh enough, and that because of you, of me? How so? Do you remember that diamond necklace which you lent me to wear at the Mercer ball? Yes, well, I lost it. What do you mean? You brought it back. I brought you back another just like it. And for this, have, have been 10 years paying. You can understand it was not easy for us. Also have nothing. At last it's ended, and I'm very glad. Madame Forster had stopped. You say that you brought a necklace of diamond to replace mine? Yes, you never noticed it. Then, they were very like. And she smiled with a joy which aspired to knife out once. Madame Forster, strongly moved, took her 2 hands. Oh, my poor Matilde. Why, my necklace of space. It was worth almost 500 francs. Thank you for listening.